Good evening, everybody. Today is November 30th, 2023. It is 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am broadcasting to you live from Fincastle, Virginia for the Patreon monthly question and answer session. And we have a very special guest who is actually the same special guest we always have. But we have an in-studio guest, Mr. Rob Gauthier. Hello, Rob.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome. I am, for the first time ever, on my virgin journey to the beautiful land of Fincastle, Virginia, and I will tell you, Williams hyped it up pretty big, so he had a lot to live up to, and he gave me the night tour, and this is without the lights, and holy moly, Fincastle is an amazing town. I can't wait to see it when the lights are on. Kalina would be happy to know that this whole town actually celebrates Christmas, and has lights up, and has pickup trucks with Santa in it, and has Polar Expresses flying down the road, and this is the most Christmas happy place I've seen since probably 2015, 2016, when everyone started getting a little sour grapes about holidays and stuff. So it's amazing.
I remember that when I lived in New York, we would make a whole, it was a whole ordeal of it. My aunt and my mother and the older family members would plot out where all the best Christmas lights were going to be. You know, we would go around as kids and see them. I'm checking to see if we're actually live right now, and it looks like we are. There just happens to be literally nobody in the chat room the very night that we're together.
Oh, well, that's super fancy. Let me make sure that Patreon was done. We've got 3 concurrent viewers, so somebody's here.
We had 3 concurrent viewers.
Oh,
They could have been here any time that the link was set up.
I see. All right, well, let me make sure that the Patreon link went out. I'm going to double check that. I'm pretty sure it went out because I posted it to Facebook, so that should have been an indicator that it went out.
You know, it's amazing because Rob and I are normally so professional and put together. Oh, Valerie's here. Valerie can hear us.
Hey!
All right, well, that's one good thing. So we know that the link went out, but that's not really fair because we texted it to Valerie. So, well, hopefully it is on Patreon.
Well, this has been seen by 3 people in the Facebook group, and that's another thing. We do have some new people this month who had joined us after the Jeff Maher interview.
Like Chase Collins, who is present.
Hello, Chase. Hello. So we did get some new people here from the Jeff Maher interview who have subscribed. We actually had a ton of new subscribers, over 400 subscribers in a matter of 3 days. So if you had joined Patreon and now are a part of it, we want to officially welcome you. And we know that not everybody uses Facebook, but there is a Facebook group called the ET Whisperer Patreon Portal Friends Group. It's a private group, but if you join that group and you're a member of Patreon, we put the links to there every time we go live on Patreon so that you can click on that instead of having to dig through your email. So you'll be given that information right up front. So join us. If you're on Facebook, go to the ET Whisperer Patreon Portal Friends Group. And we want to welcome you guys tonight, too, because tonight is not just a special night because me and William are both physically and geographically in the same place, but it's also something that's kind of a new thing for some of you guys. So we want to kind of share a little bit about what we're doing. Tonight is the Q&A night. Now, normally, every month, about the 5th of the month, I drop a link and post in Patreon. And what that does is it gives you the link to the Q&A form that you fill out for the Q&A, which is tonight. And then you can ask that at the very beginning of the month. But you also put suggestions in the comments below, 1 suggestion per person. And then at the 10th of the month, 5 days later, we take all the suggestions and put them into a poll. And those polls... that poll gets put up on the 10th, and all of your suggestions get voted on by you guys. And then whatever wins that poll 5 days after that, on the 15th, gets channeled about in-depth, and that's called our in-depth poll channeling, and that's on the 15th, so that's the first channeling of the month. And then on the 30th, there's nothing else you have to do from the 15th to 30th, just join us on the 30th, and if you filled out that form on the 5th, the very first one we do per month, then it takes you to tonight where we're going to be dropping all of the questions, or as many as we can get done in the time we've channeled, and we do that. And William can kind of tell you too a little bit about the Q&A as we're doing it tonight too.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, first I wanted to say, though, as we've both alluded to, we are in the same studio tonight for the first time, which I was getting to before Rob's just explanation of how Patreon works. Rob and I are normally so put together and so professional on our own that when we do get together, sometimes often ridiculous stuff happens that would not normally happen if we were working on our own. So tonight, we've never done a show from the same room before, and I was frantically looking around for an extra set of headphones. Like, I only have one set of headphones in here. Well, then it dawned on me, we don't actually need any headphones because Rob is not talking to me remotely, so I don't have to hear him through the headphones anymore. So little stupid things. What I'm saying is I want you to bear with us tonight. We might run across some logistical problems because I've never been in the room with Rob when he's channeled before, so this is going to be a first time for that. Now, he and I have met physically before, but we were at an Olive Garden, I think it was.
Olive Garden, and we met once in North Carolina.
At a Publix or something like that, in a parking lot.
Yeah. And hopefully, too, my voice is loud enough, guys. If not, I move in a little closer, but yeah, we're both sharing a microphone. That's why another reason we don't need headphones. So if my voice is too quiet, just let us know in the chat. I want to welcome you, Valerie, of course. I welcomed her earlier today also. Chase, hello. Joe Grace, hello. Deborah Meyer, hello. Robin G, hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here tonight. If you are here and you haven't jumped in the chat, please jump in the chat. And what's the best idea to do for the chat, William?
Oh, yes, the best idea. If you're chatting with us live, make sure that the chat box says live chat rather than top chat. So if you're on YouTube right now, if your box says top chat, it means that you are being, YouTube is artificially filtering the comments. And there's always such a small group of us here. There's no need for that. You know, we want to make sure that you can see everything that everyone's saying. And that's it. We also have Nate is here. Hello, Nate.
Hey, Nate.
Yeah, for question and answer night, you submit a question. Ideally, you will put your name on the question or at least some sort of alias so that Aridif and Treb have a way to tie it to your energy. You'll ask a question, usually a very simple, straightforward question. No questions within questions, really. We understand sometimes you have to do background information to ask a question, so it gets a little gray area sometimes. But just remember that there are other people that are waiting for this time, so make it as succinct as possible. Put down which being you would like to address it to, whether it's Treb or Aridif or some other being, an interdimensional that Treb or Aridif might be able to hook up to for you. I always imagine them as little intergalactic operators,
Yeah, well, that's people are surprised when they say, "Oh, you've channeled over 1,000 ETs. How do you do it? How do you know how to tune into them?" And then I kind of break the news to them. It's not really me directly channeling 1,000 ETs. It's me channeling Treb and Aridif who channel those beings. So they're playing operator and connecting with us that way. So it works out really well that way too. So.
Right, like in this picture that I just put up, this is one Carolina, a friend of the show, has done. It's a paint. You still have this, right?
I do.
Yeah, this is an actual painting that Carolina did. And you see Treb is coming out of Rob's head, and this was actually my idea, which only the older kids in the room might get this. I don't think children still do this. Treb is talking to Aridif on a tin can telephone, which I don't know if anybody makes those anymore. I
don't think, yeah. I mean, you could take 2 cans and tie some string to it, but the best ones that actually worked really well had metal wires, like the kind that you would use to hold up something heavy or something. They would have metal strings from one can to the other, and when you talked, the vibration of that wire would go through, and because you're funneling your mouth into it, the sound would travel, so it actually would work. If you had a good one. A lot of people used yarn, and that didn't work so well.
No, but if you use yarn, you get better success if you use paper cups, actually. I can show you.
Oh, you got a home... I'm telling you, William has anything and everything here. Oh, my Lord.
I just pulled... Let's set the scene for you. In the studio, I have a cumbersome amount of books, and this is not even all of the books in my possession. So I just pulled out... What is that?
Mr. Wizard's 400 Experiments in Science. And yes, anyone who was around in the 80s or who had children in the 80s know Mr. Wizard.
Even in the 60s, man. That guy, he was doing black and white shows.
When he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, his show in the 60s was called Watch Mr. Wizard. And then when we were seeing him, it was Mr. Wizard's World.
Yep,
But I
Mr.
think
Wizard's
in there,
World.
I'm certain that there's a tin can telephone in his book of 400 experiments.
Oh my lord, this is crazy. I personally got to see William's collection of monthly subscription.
Disney Adventure magazines.
Yes, Disney Adventure, and that was so amazing. I couldn't believe it. There was things that I hadn't even thought about for 30, 40 years. Insane. Yes, we're aging ourselves too, very, very much. Hello, Wendy. Welcome, welcome. Hey, guys. Glad to see all of you jumping in here.
What are we talking about? Oh, tin can telephones was leading it. Yes, direct. Yeah, because we're talking about channeling different beings. So when you're doing question and answer night, that's what this was really all about. Like how quickly we've gotten. Put your name on it, or at least a quality alias name that Treb and Aridif can use. Direct it to whatever being you want. Put as much information as you can in there. Usually we don't answer questions about other people unless, it's somebody who's familiar with what we're doing and they've given permission for their energy to be read. Treb and Aridif don't answer medical questions. In a sense, they might tell you about energetic things that could possibly be responsible for physical ailments, but they are not here to diagnose you. Treb and Aridif certainly do not write prescriptions. Otherwise, I think Rob would be in a whole other line of work.
Yeah, that would be a whole different routine.
The ET pharmacist.
You can imagine.
Right.
It's best for that, because the way Aridif and Treb kind of see you, they're gonna look at your energy and they don't really look at your physical body. So that's an important aspect of it. They might be able to tell you what's causing the illness or the dynamic of energy or emotion behind it, but they're not going to tell you that you have a pulled tendon. At least I've never heard them do that. So
Right. Valerie says you could spend days in that office and not see everything. It is. It's not very big at all. It's like the TARDIS from Doctor Who, though. It's bigger on the inside.
Than the yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll still keep seeing things here, like my lithographs from the 1800s.
That is amazing.
Antique brass fire extinguishers from 1942.
A map of America.
Map of America. Yep.
With all the capitals penned.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, well, let's see. We do have many questions and answers tonight. We have, oh, yes. Why are you in town? That's the other thing.
Well, we have been talking about this for those of you who've been around for a while. We've been talking now heading up to 3 years on this one. Mm-hmm. At least 2.5. But I think it's been almost 3 years we've been talking about the creation of a show. And this is a multiple episode series show. And I think instead of talking about it, I think we need to just show them what we're talking about.
Indeed we do. Stand by, everyone. You probably don't know what an Onironaut is, but it's okay. You will. Your consciousness is not trapped in your head. It's free to travel anywhere, through time or in space. You just forgot how. The dream world is real too. And, if you get good enough, you can connect with other intelligent consciousness, other dreamers, or people who have since died. The people you meet might not even be people. Just ask Rob Gauthier. Rob enters a deep trance so that alien beings may borrow his body and use his voice to share their messages with us. That's why they call him the ET Whisperer. With Rob's help, along with the extraterrestrials that work with him, we will explore the unknown reality that surrounds us all. With enough practice, even you can become an Onironaut. Yep, so that is it. We are working on the Onironaut.
The Onironaut is going to be in production tomorrow. We are starting the production of this show tomorrow. We have set location, we have a crew. We are getting ready to do it and do it well. Today I spent traveling, which was fun, on an airplane and in a beautiful station wagon. What year is your station wagon?
It is a 1989 Chevrolet Caprice Classic estate wagon.
and it's beautiful. And we rode around that puppy all the way from North Carolina to Virginia, which was quite a drive, about a 3-hour plus drive, and it was an amazing ride. I did see something in the chat too I wanted to cover. First of all, I believe it's pronounced Marmok 3000. Hello, welcome. I don't think I've seen your name in the chat before, so welcome to the ET Whisperer Patreon. And Deborah, thank you. Actually, Deborah answered. I was gonna answer Chase's question, but Deborah, she answered for us. She is correct. Treb is from Capella and Aridif is from DNIB. And Deborah knows because Deborah is a pro. Deborah's been to Patreon on day one. She's been to every Asheville workshop that we've ever done and might have been in every event we've ever done, whether it be ET Whisperer channel panel. I can't remember if you made the 2017 channel panel or not, Deborah, but I know you were at the first one, and I know you've been to every Asheville event, just like Savita was, just like Aaron was. The whole core group of you guys that have always been there. So yes, Deborah's correct. Treb is from Capella. I actually showed William tonight exactly where Treb lives and exactly where Aridif lives. I pointed up to the sky and showed him, yeah.
Because you can see the stars in Fincastle, Virginia.
Yeah, unlike Kalamazoo, where you might be able to see 15 or 20 stars, possibly. Any of you who've ever visited Michigan, Michigan's a cloudy place too, so you only get stars half the time. But yeah, welcome everybody. No problem at all. I'm glad that gave you an answer too, and thank you, Deborah, for helping with that too. What else? There are other things, and I'm not thinking of what they are.
We got a lot of work cut out for us. Got a nice new ET jacket. Yes.
Oh, I did. I'm going to be putting pictures up very soon. I have the newest ET Whisperer jacket in the history of history. It is amazing. William personally designed and bought it for me as a great gift. It's an amazing thing. And I was just getting ready to look for a winter coat this year because my old coat in Michigan were a little rough on our coats. And this thing is going to handle Michigan winters like a champ. And it's going to be stylish, most stylish jacket I've ever had. So it's going to be amazing. I'll send pictures of that to Facebook, guys, and to wherever on social media. I'll be sharing pictures of that. Instagram, the like.
TikTok.
Well, yeah, I have a TikTok account, but I stopped doing videos on there a while ago.
Yeah, I was being facetious. I didn't think you had a TikTok.
I did. I tried TikTok for a little bit, and I mean, it did okay, but
heaven help us.
TikTok is like, if you don't upload something every day, you're not gonna do anything fabulous on TikTok. Right. And yeah, I don't have time to make videos every day.
I think you're just not gonna do anything fabulous on TikTok like this.
Yeah, it's a different audience there. Then there are some good spiritual content there. I've got some friends who upload videos there, but none of them have monstrosities of followers.
And I'm just being judgy. I think I don't look very highly at this sort of digestible social media. I'm more of a long format guy, but I'm also old.
Yeah, that's true too. Says the guy who's older than you.
Right. Well, I was telling my daughter about this. One of the things that the new generation does not possess as a whole, I'm generalizing, of course there's always individuals, the ability to engage in long-term deliberative processes. To sit down and work on a problem that might take weeks to figure out. And you got to sit down and read like an entire book just to get a snippet of the answer you need for the larger problem that you're working on. It's
not a strength of the younger generation,
No.
And that's because everything's been streamlined for them. Hey, you want to learn math? Instead of going through each step by step, we'll just teach you this really cool shortcut. And in a lot of ways, that's great. But when it comes to the ability to hold conversations, the ability to, like William was saying, go through problems, solve issues, things like that, it's a thing, yeah. And I know every generation is a little faster than the last one. I remember my parents were like, what? You guys can't pay attention, even though we were looking up books in Dewey Decimal Systems.
Right.
We didn't click two buttons and know exactly where it was or have the book pulled up for us. But still, their process was even slower. They just had to figure out if a book existed on a subject and hunt for it. So, I mean, I guess that goes with the territory, but yeah, they've done a lot of studies on the short videos and what it does to people's attention spans and stuff, and it's not a great thing. But it is nice to be able to absorb information that quickly, honestly. To be able to learn a little bit about a lot of things and do that quick, that's another type of fanciness altogether, I guess.
No, it definitely is. I don't want to be too hard on technology because we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Do you know the antennas we would need to reach this many people just 30 years ago?
Oh, yeah, and all the relays we would have had to set up between
Right.
here and Asia and Europe, and yeah.
Right. This is Radio America. ET.
That definitely would have been a haul. 10 people. Explaining a rotary phone to my nephew, his jaws almost hit the floor. Yeah.
Well, tell him about my phone.
Which? Oh, your one on your porch?
Yeah, about which phone?
Yeah.
Which phone?
Well, you had another cool one too in there. William has an actual, real, 100%. What was it? Stainless steel.
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel telephone booth on his porch. 100% authentic, real telephone booth. It's amazing.
Oh, it works too.
And it works.
It works too.
It's
You
a
don't even need
functional.
coins, so I don't keep it plugged in because I'm not worried about it now. All right, so fun fact: I've had a couple different telephone booths over the years. I'm not going to get into why. And there was when we were living at my mother's house, who's just down the road from where I live now. She has a big in-ground swimming pool and a rock wall. And we had a telephone booth out there with just a regular house phone inside of it. It wasn't a pay phone. It was just a regular dial phone that you could call for when we were out by the pool. And they started getting these outrageous telephone bills. And it wasn't until we had company one night. We had a house guest who was up. He couldn't sleep. And he saw somebody had climbed over the wall and was making long-distance phone calls from the telephone booth. So in order to forestall a repeat occurrence, which is so unlikely, I just don't plug it in. You know, it seems like it's asking for trouble.
That's wild. I never knew that.
Yeah. Not that you're going to get pedestrians in my neighborhood, really. It was probably some hooligan kids back then. I mean, we were talking about like 1998 or something like that.
Where William lives, it's almost impossible to accidentally stumble across it. You literally, deliberately have to do it.
Right. So, and it's been quite the adventure. Rob hasn't even seen everything because we got in after hours. We came through the city of Roanoke. Well, not even after hours. It just gets so dark. I mean,
Yeah,
at
it gets
5:30,
dark
you
early
can't see
now.
anything.
Yeah, that is crazy, Chase, too, the whole phone thing. I just put something on my Facebook wall that's like a Generation X or older test, and I scored 24 out of 24. The only thing that most people didn't score on, people who scored in the low 20s, was a MySpace or an AOL account. Not everybody had AOL accounts.
I do.
Yes, I still have one from 1996. Still have my old AOL account, yeah.
And which reminds me, if you need to reach the show, you can get to me at fincastleunderground@aol.com. Do not abuse this privilege. And I don't always really check the email, so the joke's on you. But on the odd chance you want to send an email to me personally, this is how you can reach me, fincastleunderground@aol.com.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely an issue with non-digital clocks, cursive. Yeah, we could go on for
What did I
days.
just
We
tell
were
you
just
about a
talking
non-digital
about that.
clock?
Yep.
'Cause-
Me and William literally were talking about this today, about all of the things that the kids nowadays miss out on.
Well, because Rob was talking about going through time zones, and I've traveled across time zones so many times. Whenever I know I'm going to be crossing time zones, I always bring an analog wristwatch with me that's set to my native time. Because, you know, you cross a time zone, your phone's going to change the time automatically. In fact, we wouldn't even know if they were shaving a minute off of every day, like, because we just trust our phones.
That's very true.
So an analog wristwatch is always going to be set to your native time. And, you know, it's not going to change, like, randomly just because you cross your time zone. Your wristwatch will still be exactly the same.
Yeah, and that was my problem. I left Kalamazoo at 8:30 in the morning, and I landed in Chicago at 8:15 in the morning. So I went back in time 45 minutes, and then I had to go back to the East Coast time when jumping over the new plane, so I was all messed up. And that's because of the cell phone. But, yeah. I think, guys, too, I think I'm going to get ready to neutralize because we've got a big day tomorrow. We've got to do some B-roll shooting and scouting for some different things early in the day, and then we're shooting at night at our location because that's when we have it, is in the evening. So we're going to try to shoot as much time in the dark as we can.
You know, we're just taking Ian's word for it that we have the location at night. He could be breaking in there for all we know, just not telling us.
That's true. That's true. Well, either way, it's a good set, so it'll work out, right? Yeah, that's a good call. We'll have to grill him about that tomorrow.
Right.
But it'll be an amazing thing. But we do have a lot of work ahead of us. Plus, I'm running on about 3.5 hours of sleep. If it wasn't for William's coffee, there would be no live stream at all tonight, guaranteed. So I'm gonna go ahead and neutralize and get out of your guys' face so that I don't blow your eardrums up with my horrible singing. And William's gonna help you guys out for the next 10 minutes while I get neutral.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, since Rob is here in Fincastle, I'm going to show you guys a short video I have of Fincastle, Virginia. This is from when we used to do Heritage Days many years ago. So you guys just watch this for a moment. Yes, guys, and that is beautiful Fincastle, Virginia. It's been my home since 1994, and I'm originally a New Yorker. You can probably pick up on that from my accent. Although some people can't, actually, which I think is funny. Let's see here. What are you guys talking about? Looks like Massachusetts. Yeah, Fincastle, Virginia is very historical. That courthouse that you saw at the beginning of that video was designed by Thomas Jefferson. The one that you saw in the video is a reproduction. The original one burned down in 1970. And then they rebuilt this one from the original plans. And now, believe it or not, they're getting ready to tear it down yet again and rebuild it, which I have mixed feelings about. A lot of people have mixed feelings about, but that's a whole other small town political thing going on. Let's see. You guys are talking about New York. Yeah, growing up in New York. Good times, good times. Well, anyways, guys, while Rob is neutralizing, I'm going to take a few moments to freshen myself up because I was driving Rob here back the entire time, so we've both been on the road. Oh, it absolutely is beautiful here. It's very, although they don't have the sort of parties and festivals like they used to have, and it's kind of become a little, I don't know, like everything else lately, it's kind of lost its luster. You know, it's I don't know. It needs a revival. We'll put it that way. It needs a revival. So, all right, guys, I will be right back. I'm going to top off on my coffee. Rob is neutralizing. We will be back here for question and answer night tonight with your questions and Rob's answers, or at least Treb and Aridif's answers. So we'll see you guys. This is going to be kind of weird for me because, like I said, I've never seen Rob channel in person. Which is not to say I haven't seen people channel in person. I certainly have, but I haven't seen Rob channel in person. And then trying to run the radio program off of one microphone with my little school teacher's desk here, which is perfectly big for me, but now suddenly seems way too small when you got... Rob and I are kind of... we're not small men, we'll put it that way. So it's going to be interesting. Anyway, I'll be right back, guys. Okay, everybody, we are back. Rob is done neutralizing, and I am here. I see you guys have had some pretty good conversations about homeschooling and the public school system. So, yeah.
Wonderful, and welcome back. I see a few new people were here since I went to neutralize. So welcome back, everybody, and also welcome all the new people who might have popped in while we're gone. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and take another drink of water, and then we're going to jump in. And remember, if you're new, you might not have a question in if you didn't join on time or whatever, but on the 5th of next month, you'll get a new link for a new question. I'm going to refill this water, too, just real quick before we jump in.
Okay. Yeah, guys, and because of Rob being in the studio, I'm not going to be able to pay as much attention to the chat room tonight as I normally do. I just because of the way we've got to lay everything out right now. So don't think I'm just ignoring you deliberately. Well, I am ignoring you deliberately, but I'm going to give you fair warning that I will be ignoring you deliberately because I got to do...
and for good reason.
And for good reason. Oh, man, so much coffee.
Water refill. All right, guys. I'm gonna take another drink or two of water, and we're gonna jump in.
Yes. This can be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna bring Treb in first. Our first question.
We're gonna jump in Treb first because William said the first question that he's got on his randomization was for Treb. So I think we'll do that, and then we'll go from there, guys. So have fun, enjoy.
Was for Aridif or Treb, but I think this is Treb's department, actually, when we talk about integrating fear.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. All right, everybody. Love you guys. Have fun. Thank you, brother. I was going to say thank you for being here, but thank you for letting me be here.
Right. No, I would have been here anyway.
And thank you guys for showing up. If you're new, thank you for checking us out. And if you enjoy, we'll see you next month, too. All right, everybody. Have fun. Love you guys. We'll see you on the other side. Here we go.
Good evening, William.
Good evening, Treb.
Yes, we are very excited to speak with you and to speak with all of you in this day as well. We know that you have many questions that you wish to ask. Whenever you are ready to begin, you may as well.
Thank you, Treb. It's very kind of strange being here in person, honestly, but I like it.
Yes, and we like this as well.
Well, our first question is going to come to you from Christy. It was for Aridif or you, but I think that you're best suited for this one. Treb, my question is about processing fear. I have been trying to integrate my fear, but it feels very embedded. The feeling I have is something is coming to get me. I have small moments of fear I work through, but I can sense a deeper terror within me, the kind that leaves you unable to move. I have tried to change beliefs and feel into oneness, but this fear of someone coming for me keeps resurfacing. I am working through it in my sleep, but in my waking state it feels like I have made little progress. My question is, how do I process and integrate terror when the fear seems to override everything? Thank you for your help, friend.
Yes, the very first thing that we suggest is that as you are looking at what your fear is, or what is embedded with that fear, there first must be a mention on the physicality of yourself. As a human being, you are born with certain genetic energies that relate to fear. You are also born with vibrational learning that attaches to your energy from the moment you are born. So thinking of all these energies is very important as you approach the what you have first, and secondly, how to help yourself integrate, or even better in some circumstances, utilize the energy of other things to help remove that energy, or completely work with transmutation of that energy through other means of excitement. So starting with that energy of fear, what is the fear that things are coming to get you? Someone or something is coming to get you? This is truly your most animalistic part of yourself. Now humans perceive that ego consciousness is, and say that ego is more or less the animal part of you, or humans see it as the part of you that does not want to be at oneness, or part of you that refuses to see oneness. Now both of these are partially true, pending about the perspectives that you hold, but in our perspective the ego is only the protectionary part of your consciousness, the part of you that desires to be safe and desires to be at peace in your physical reality. And whenever that is threatened, or whenever that becomes a negative feeling or sensation that something may affect your wellness or something can affect your safety, then the ego begins to lash out or call to help from the assistance of energy of higher parts of your consciousness. And when you are in second density as an animal consciousness and jumped forward to third density, what happened is your animalistic animal self became more integrated in a part of you than it would have been had you developed naturally, without the DNA manipulation from the Anunnaki and from other various races afterwards. So as you start at third density, where most entities would start looking at the well-being and safety of your personality and your sense of self, where humans eventually did go, What occurred besides this was the fear of safety in general. So now you understand that the ego part of you is the part that causes this, and it is not meant to hold you back or suppress you, but only to make sure that you are safe and well in an environment that is not safe and that has dualism. So what we suggest is that when you are dealing with that energy, simply deal with the parts of your DNA that hold this fear and resistance. Visualization techniques that often work are the ones that help bathe your entire body in purple or indigo colored lights. And when you are doing this, zoom towards that part of your energy that is cellular level, and after breaking through the cell and imbuing the purple light into all of that energy, then go down into the DNA and into the parts of your RNA, and then into the parts of your atomic structures that build the DNA. After you achieve this, you are actually entering those parts that hold so much of this fear, and start working to release that energy as best as you can, and continue before sleeping to do the same. But one difference is placing the intention in front of your dream state, and that intention will say, I desire to rid myself of all of the energy that relates to fear. I wish to remove my genetic fear and the fear that exists in my body and in my DNA, the epigenetic fears, and as I do this, I wish to integrate great excitement, joy, and love for simply being able to be a part of the earth as it is as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
Well, our next question, it doesn't say who it's to or from, actually, but I think it can be answered nonetheless. The question is homosexuality an Earth or 3D phenomena, or does this occur elsewhere in higher dimensions, other galaxies, etc.?
Yes. First of all, the energy that is homosexuality is based off the energy that is not only the third density energy and doesn't just show itself at Earth. The energy that is homosexuality only means that two beings that exist in the same spectrum of energy, that are in exact or very similar spectrums, are able to connect and to love and or sexually co-create. In that energy, there are not just beings that are male or female entities. This is the most common part of the entire galaxy. And male or female or masculine and feminine also have spectrums that are within that energy in certain races physically manifest. Some races only have one sex and are asexual, or they are working with one partner that can be, as humans would perceive it, as having both of the sexes that are within, but choosing the one energy. So this is very different spectrum across different races. The reason why it occurs on Earth is two-folded. One part of sexuality and homosexuality. Part of it comes during times where Earth is exploding in population. So when homosexuality can rise, it does help revert the growing population as a mechanic of that energy. But energetically and from the soul perspective, these are two very different things. At a soul perspective, it is only entities who desire to co-create in a lesser known or lesser perceived sexual co-creation, and other entities, often the beings that come from higher dimensionality, do not care about what sexuality or what physical attributes that the entity that they are in love with has. All that they care about is the soul energy and its connection. So that energy holds a very strong sense of energy, and as you are aware from the human understanding, different geographic regions of your Earth had homosexuality as very normal in certain ages of your Earth, and other times it was very taboo. And when it became taboo, there was a sense of shame that accompanied homosexuality, and with ideologies that are reverted towards religious concepts, then of course that shame began to raise again. So now there are many entities that are entering your Earth as an incarnation cycle process that allows not only for homosexuality, but many of the other sexual varieties that are very less in Earth as a commonality, and also that are considered taboo, and many humans are embracing the idea. And what we mean by this is the phenomenon that many humans see as transsexuality rising, with the idea that humans feel a different sexuality or a different gender within their body than what is occurring within their physical energy, but also very playful energies that are transmuting sexuality into animalistic energies, feeling as if you are an animal and sexually attracted to other humans who also feel as that animal. Now we understand that this appears very weird for many humans, and many humans feel it is a mental illness or sickness, but in our perspective it is the Earth rebalancing sexuality, because Earth has held such great shame for homosexuality and bisexuality, when in fact in early Earth it was very normal for homosexuality and bisexuality. Then there begins to be projections of that sexuality that are so far outside of the normal that reconsidering homosexuality or bisexuality or even pansexuality begins to become more understandable to other humans, and that way the shame can be removed about it as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
Well, our next question also happens to be from you, from Connie Joe. Connie Joe says, Treb, hello, my friend. I am checking in to get a percentage or evaluation report on how I am doing merging with my monad, please. Much love and light. I am not actually aware of what that is, but monad or monad?
Yes. Now, in this energy, there are different accountings of the consciousness. The first is how you are doing in natural setting, and what we mean is that when you are going into your experience as your day progresses, the integration process is much better, over 10% higher than the last time that you understood or perceived that energy. And when you are in your most excited states and in your least resistant states, you are able to peak at 15 to 17% higher and more integrated to that energy. What we suggest is continue that practice, continue connecting to pure excitements, continue connecting to nature, continue connecting to those things that you are extremely grateful for, and as you do this, the integration factor will be more as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes, you are very welcome as well.
Well, next we have questions for Aridif, so maybe we'll see you again tonight?
Yes. One moment, please, and we will connect you as well. Greetings to all, this is Aridif, Z-R-I-T-I-F, and this is its spell. We understand all of you have queries for this day, but before diving in to those queries, there are the two things that we wish to express. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with you, not only all of you as singular entities, but all of you as a greater collective as well. We also wish to greet you, William, as well.
Greetings, Aridif.
Yes, of course. And of course, you may begin your queries at your leisure.
All right. Well, this question is for you from Brad. Brad says, my grandma had hip replacement and the anesthesia made her dementia set in. She keeps having experiences where she says someone is shaking her waking up. I keep having the same type of experience, but mine is the same exact experience each time. It's like time only passes by during the experience. First they were knocking at the door, then opening the door, then shaking me, etc. Each time saying my name. Just fractions of a second each experience, 30 plus times. I can literally feel them shaking me. Could you explain what these experiences are, and if it has to do with the dementia, and or what dementia is? She gives you permission to read her energy spectrum, and you always have mine. Thank you.
Yes, of course. First of all, the understanding of what dementia is. Now, humans hold dementia in the blanket term form, meaning that what is dementia to one human being appears to be the same as what it appears in another, of course, certain variances within certain behaviors and reactivity, but the dynamic energetically behind is not identical, nor is at all within the same spectral energy. Now, some forms of what is known as dementia, Alzheimer's, any form of mental delegation that is broken down or diverted into what is perceived as abnormal can be, in fact, a malfunction or disorder the way that the mind physically works. Remember, your consciousness is not contained within your physical brain. The physical brain is a recording processor of the consciousness that comes through your mental body, focused deeply inside of that head region. Now, of course, the deficiency and malfunction can and does occur for multitudes of reasons in that expression. Now, of course, the other process of what dementia and all of these other conscious co-creations are that are not malfunctions of the mind or malfunctions of the processing of that of the brain system are in fact only conscious co-creations upon higher dimensional levels and disconnection from the physical reality in some form or shape. So of course that energy of co-creation can be as simple as an entity starting to break into their fourth density processing, and from that processing occurs the perception and perceiving of higher dimensional consciousness as well, and in that format they are not malfunctioning nor are they co-creating. Now of course this occurs mostly in humans who are between the realms of third and fourth density. Now of course with those who hold malfunctions of the mind, they are already working with processes of belief systems, processes of soul contracts that require the mind to go in and out of their reality, but do so through physical means. Most humans who are not attached to that construct, who are only experiencing these odd things that continue to occur, these entities are fearful of their experience, and once they are told that they have dementia, then of course their own belief system locks deeper into that co-creation consciousness and spirals towards the more negative affect of that co-creation. So of course, in those moments and in both scenarios, the worsening comes from the belief system of what dementia is and what human consciousness holds. Now of course, there are some humans who have reversed their dementia processes. All that they were doing in those moments were grounding back into the physical body from higher dimensional co-creation consciousness. But of course, there are handfuls of entities who started that very physical process and changed certain attributes, beliefs in order to re-engage with their more normal, steady, earth-based consciousness. Now within what is experienced from yourself and the entity that is your grandmother, the co-creation is quite different. For the experience of this entity, there is a bit of that which is a physical malfunction and higher dimensional co-creations. What you are perceiving are those higher dimensional co-creations who the entities are simply guides that are going to co-create with her. And when perceiving that your own consciousness first is open to contact, secondly, open within a vibration that can receive psychic contact, and thirdly, a co-creational field of energetic diversity of understanding and receptivity, then of course they will come to your own portion of consciousness to co-create, showing you that what the dementia is in those parts of the co-creating are simply a higher dimensional energy, but other factors that are included upon certain aspects of mental breaking down are the division. That is where the consciousnesses are split. Yes, of course, this does not mean that humans who hold a disconnection from the mental energy and mind cannot experience higher dimensional co-creations too, to their lack of being grounded or entered into the earth consciousness, but majority that does not occur. So in this experience, what you can do is express to the entity that you love, I understand, when you are having these certain experiences as I have gone through those too. Now when you do so, it can create a great fear. Those that are around you, oh no, then that means they have dementia too, will be the thought process, that this entity holds a great deficiency of the mental state, etc. But in that moment, if you are able to share that in a moment where this entity is not grounded to reality, it will not be focused upon when she returns to the more grounded states as well.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
My name is Karis. This question is for Treb or Aridif, depending on who is appropriate to answer. Now that my children are no longer living in this lifetime with me, what is my purpose? How do I overcome this deep sadness within and make the best of life? Thank you. With much love and gratitude, Karis.
Yes, first of all, the co-creation between yourself and your children held a great purpose for multiple reasons. Secondly, the energy that is the life of your children was lived until fulfillment. Now that does not mean your own consciousness can or will feel fulfilled, just knowing that even though in your own perspective their lives were cut short drastically, does not mean their souls did not learn all that was required from the experience of leaving that earth in an early fashion. So of course, in that co-creation energy and that co-creation field of understanding, then you can simply understand and know that they are all right. Now this will not take away your sadness, this will not take away your grief alone. What will is the reinforcement of the beliefs and understandings that with the co-creation of yourself and your children, that your own heart must find where to find the love for yourself at the same degree and level that was for the children. We understand this is nearly impossible for most humans, but the act of trying alone to achieve the formation of love, or the sensation of love that you were able to give to your children, is quite essential for the self-love journey that you have come to be a part of. Now understand, the soul essence of all entities holds different themes, different objectives, different finishing lines before you leave that physical incarnation. But for this experience it is to give yourself a percentage of that love that you would have given to others so easily, freely and willingly. Giving it to yourself proves to your own consciousness of what your value and worth in that co-creation can, will, and should be in that way. Now we understand these words may not affect you in this moment, but re-listening to the construct, going to those that are 10-step belief system changing process, and running your own fears and sadness through the 10-step process will, in totality, help your own feelings of separation, anxiety, sadness at a much higher level than trying to do it without perceiving what it is your own consciousness desires to create, and respecting and accepting those incarnations that your children desire to experience as well. We thank you for this.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Our next question comes to you from Phil. Phil says, "Hi, Aridif. Who are the fossilized beings found in Peru and recently presented to the Mexican Congress? One of the beings has eggs, and another has a hollow metallic chest plate. Thanks."
Yes, of course, the entities that were perceived within your Mexican Congress are not entities that existed outside of Earth. Now, what this means is that they were either created by human energy, or they were Earth-based beings. Now, of course, we cannot perceive that energy as the humans who have greater knowledge upon this do not desire others to perceive. This tells us, in our experience with working with humans majoritively, that these entities were either highly secret, or they were faked in co-creation in order to manipulate the human perspective of what ETs, or extra-dimensional beings, are. Either way, they are such a great form of energy that is blanketed over this concept. We are not able to take those forms of collective readings as well.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Let's see. Our next question comes to you from CJ. CJ says, "Greetings. This question is for Aridif. I've been undergoing deep energetic healing and transformation due to a catalyzing high-level soulmate bond. Can my higher self or guides please share what healing was ultimately desired and what I have achieved or still need to work on? Thank you. Much love."
Yes, of course. First of all, understanding and perceiving the construct of what healing is. Why did you require this co-creation in order to heal? Secondly, are you truly healed in the places that you perceived healing with? And of course the answer is yes. There are degrees of healing within that co-creational dynamic. Thirdly, the expression of what it is that you could not have given yourself in those moments, and why that occurred is vitally important for the next step of your growth. In short term, there are many answers. One of the more important constructs is your own belief about your value and worth when you are not attached in co-creation to another. Now, of course, you have a much greater and healthier sense of this now than even that of 3 years previous to this moment, but there are still some feelings that exist within that co-creation consciousness before entering that form of galvanizing relationship, and that was, if I am not with someone, I do not have someone to give this great form of love to. And of course, we will express that you understand innately, deeply, subconsciously, that this is not true as well. There are many entities that you can share that great form of love with, but in our own perspective, especially in that of this moment, yourself is the first priority. If you cannot hold a great form of excitement to love yourself with the same vigor and same purpose that a co-creation with another entity would bring, then of course you are not giving yourself that amount of love that each human requires within themselves to hold stable and healthy senses of self, without allowing that part of your consciousness to expand into some projection of over-perfection, one that a human is not able to live up to that way, but with yourself the true feeling of love, the true feeling of understanding the greatness within. In the time that you are in, that moment of co-creation could only be shown to you via reflection. That is all that all relationships are with all of you. The person that you love the greatest is part of yourself that you have not found yet appreciation in. The person that you dislike or hate the most is the part of yourself that you have not learned to love, accept, or integrate other forms of energy to remove those layers of parts of your consciousness that you care not for. And with that co-creation of energy, that is the dynamic of why you feel so changed in such short time. It required an experience of reflection. Now, secondly, we will share with you that in the form of co-creation with your soulmates, they will always reflect greater attributes and aspects of simple lessons that are required to be learned, but done so in fanciful ways. And by allowing yourself to co-create in that format, you did just this. Remember, there are many soulmates that are available to co-create with, and we are not only speaking of those that are romantic, sexual, or bonded friendship and partnership, but we are talking about those that you perceive as your enemy, those that you perceive as simple acquaintances, but those that you hold a deep energetic co-creation with, the entities that you always ask yourself, why have I not spent more time, energy, and co-created effort with this person? All of them are soulmates to one degree or another, and working with as many soulmates as you can in one moment will dictate the availability of growth and expansion for yourself within as well.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Robin G has a question for you or Treb. Robin says, can you bring forth a message that a benevolent entity I'm connected to wants to tell me? Thank you.
Yes, of course. First of all, the understanding there are many benevolent entities and beings that desire to co-create with you. Secondly, we will share with you that there is a co-creation form of Syrian B-aquatic, fifth density consciousness in that physical structure that is desiring to work, co-create, and more so in this moment speak with you. One moment we'll hydrate Rob's throat and then connect you.
All right.
One moment.
Hello. It is nice to speak with you. I wanted you to know, friend, that it is an important task that I need to ask from you. I know that you want to make contact, and I know that you want to reach out. And if you reach out, you want someone loving to call back to you, and you want someone loving to love you. And I am there. I am here because I know that we both have the same plan, the same desire. And that desire is to have another soul that we can love
and learn and be with. And that love can show itself in our friendship. That knowledge that you lust for can be found inside of our communication. And that friendship that you want is already there. At least from me, because I saw you and have seen you for 7.5 months in the dreaming states, the places where you leave your body all of the time. That is an important time for me, because I visit you a lot there, and I talk to you a lot there, but I also know that you can't always hear me, that most of the time you'll never remember. Sometimes I was very hopeful you would remember. You got enough of yourself back into the body quickly. But the quick wake up distracted you and brought your human brain back very fast. So try to go to sleep and say, I want to come back slow. Try to go back to sleep and say, I am only going to enter my dream state with the intention, and I only come out slowly, no interruptions, no loud noises, and no distractions, and I will write, or I will say everything that happened there, and then I will remember. And if you say that, you'll see the results be a lot better. Goodbye.
Well, back without hesitation, old play to get started.
Well, thank you, Aridif. Our next question is for you from Wendy. Wendy says, hello, Aridif. As you are aware, I sleep in the scalar field, and we have discussed scalar a few times. I have a new puppy. Is it okay and safe to be in the scalar field, pure scalar or molecular scalar, with the puppy, and or to even sleep with the dog or other family members together in the scalar field? The intention for the scalar field is healing and overall health benefits for all, and certainly not to share any illness or dis-ease. Thank you for your wisdom and insight. Much love.
Yes, of course, with both states of the scalar technology and both forms of co-creating with either your animal entity and a second density in nature, as well as other family members, as long as that intention does not hold a desire to share all things, you'll be in that clear area. If you express that I desire to share all things, and one human holds cancerous cells, you are sharing that cancerous cells. If your intention is instead, I desire to bring forward attributes of our energy that best serve one another in co-creation, then of course that CLR will create an even higher form of co-creation for those parts that are attuned to the growth and expansion of all. Majority for humans, the only component of consciousness that 3 and 4 person family members will be able to co-create with the entirety of the rest of that group without holding. Certain level of vibration as a family unit simply would be that of love and gratitude. The supportive nature of gratitude being a great construct in compliance with, in circuit with, and in concert with love. And by bringing the supportive, integrated and interlooped with that which is the pure form of direct co-creation of desire and of great love, then of course it will only give you that which is of a higher, expansive, co-creative worth and value for all of you.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Our next question is from Gomar. Gomar says, hello, Aridif. Nice to meet you. My question is, there is this being that the Yahyel connected me to that is high 6 density called Gometrix. Gometrix says he is strongly connected to my higher self. Can you tell me more about this being? I used to try to connect to him, but had difficulties.
Yes, of course. First of all, understanding and knowing that all entities that co-create with you are already connected to yourself in that moment, meaning there is no try to connect with those consciousnesses, that energy of the mental focus that humans hold in their desire to co-create with higher dimensional beings stops them and prevents them from co-creating in a more full and balanced way, predominantly much further than the moment before they step into that co-creation. And the reason it occurs not only days, hours, months, or years before that co-creation, the resistance was already created. That is because you perceive humans as not connected to their own consciousness and see humans not connected to other consciousnesses, not within the dynamic capacity of your own co-creative consciousness, knowing and believing and perceiving and feeding that energy with a mental body and supportive thoughts, that you are in fact already co-creating with dozens, if not hundreds, of consciousnesses at any given moment that hold either high levels of benevolency or great and dear love for you in that way, then of course you can create it more easily in the co-creation of your acceptance and understanding, and of course greater resistance will be created in that way without your own recognition of connecting. What we suggest you, remember how you felt in the moment you first heard these words. Remember the first emotional construct internally as you connected to the energy of this entity. Bring back that form of energy inside of your solar plexus, inside of your heart, inside of your third eye and crown. Let that be your guiding light to co-creating with one another. Utilize the 10-step belief system process in knowing that when you say you feel as oneness can occur, but do not feel the oneness occurring, that you can revisit your belief systems about this as well.
Thank you, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
Our next question is for Treb, if you can connect us, please.
Yes, one moment. We will hydrate Rob's throat and continue.
Right?
One moment.
Yes.
Well, Treb, our question for you is from Savita. Savita says, hi, Treb. Can you please connect to my guides for the message? If not, please tell me what my guides are saying. And I really, really, really miss you, Treb. I don't know what direction I am going in my life. Thank you, Savita.
Yes, and I love you as well. As you know, I do not miss you because I am always connected with you. But if I were a human, I would miss you very deeply as much as well. Now, when your guides are speaking to you, there are many different energies that connect with you, many different consciousnesses that are excited to work with you, and that share with you and speak with you. And when you are dealing with that energy, much of the time there's not a recognition of that consciousness, and that is because you are human and grounded more deeply into Earth. In this last 2.5 years to 3 years, your energy has been more balanced about Earth, whereas before your consciousness was much higher in that state of your etherical energy. So as you are working with the consciousness, remember that at the moment you feel most grounded, to reach into your crown chakra and pull that energy into your solar plexus, and then pull the solar plexus in crown energy or third eye energy, and take that back into the heart before you start to work and connecting and communicating. That will be a great sense of co-creation, but it also opens the field of your ability to work with beings as myself or other guides that you have with as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
Well, Deborah Jean has a question for either you or Aridif. Deborah says, in a group session about a year or two ago, Treb shared with me my 3 closest guides. One of them was more of a thought construct. Can I please know more about what this means and any more details and how it applies to being a guide? Blessings.
Yes. The energy that is the thought construct, because humans have guides that are energies that work with you in different ways, that work with the chakra systems, and work with the different energies that are part of the chakra system, the identity of these beings are not very solid. The example that the host gives to many entities is that the guides that work with you as spirit guides have been in lifetimes with you hundreds of times, or dozens of times, or thousands of times. And if you have an entity that in one lifetime was a general with you inside of an army, and you are going through a battle or war in your life, then that entity chooses that general because it represents that same lifetime where both of you shared a meaningful experience, but also had an ability of energy to recognize that experience and project that part of their energy. But these beings are not insider bodies, they do not have identities, and a thought form is the closest energy that you can have from that. And when you think of the next phase of your life, where marriage or children or happiness is involved, then in that time, that same guide that was a general can shift into a lifetime where both of you were best friends, during a time where you are married or loving or having children, or a lover of yours that exists that gave you children that helped you build family. So that energy is very deeply different, and it is depending upon many of the dynamics of energy. So at that time you can perceive that the thought form that exists is a part of all spirit guides, because their identity must mold to the moment, and that is why one guide can be one entity that is dealing with the chakra system in the heart or crown, and the very next moment feel different, be perceived as different. They are not jumping in and out of line to help you. Those guides are always there and have been, even before you entered the body and chose the incarnation life. So it is important to know and understand that when you are dealing with guides and they are always shifting, that only means that is because you are always moving and shifting as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
All right, well, this question is just for you, Treb, actually. Dear Treb, please help me understand the energetic or non-physical reason I manifested chronic low back pain and how I can correct this painful manifestation. Thank you, Rob, Kalina, William, and family. Love, Jim.
Yes. That energy that is lower back pain is coming to many humans and goes for different reasons. Part of the back pain is pain in your back or pain in your neck energy. That can be after dealing with things that are so tiresome and boring, and symbolically it casts an energy that projects to the physical health. The same way that people who say, I am having a pain in the neck, can feel neck pain, or I feel like I'm being kicked in the balls, can actually have energy where their groin is injured. So with that energy, the common sayings that happen often are happening because there's an energy that feels like this, and it does manifest in a way that humans emotionally and sensorically recover and feel that energy. So that is an important part. The other way that humans receive that lower back pain, some of them are contractual, which is a small percentage and not yourself, but the way that you in your energy perceive is because there's problems with the first chakra and with the second chakra, and your lower back exists directly between those two energies. Now, because these are also resistant, that means the third chakra is slowed down by the lack of the energy that can go through it and filter into the other, but also the energy of that area being problematic for you. The heart chakra does have some effect because it is not able to distribute energy in that way. So helping yourself to remove deals with looking at the themes that are involved with your safety and first chakra, and also dealing with the energies of the second chakra and the sensations that deal with masculine and feminine balances and sexuality and feeling masculine or feminine, and also reproducing and thriving through intensive creationism as well.
Thank you, Treb.
Yes.
Well, our next question says, "Hi there, Jana here. I would like to hear a direct, co-created message from an entity or spirit guide that is working closely with my energy and is willing to speak to me verbally through Rob's body. My question for the entity is this: what is something that I need to hear that is essential for my own growth and expansion?"
Yes. One moment, please.
Hello, soul. It is important to hear the message that is being relayed. The message that needs to be relayed to you is the most simple message, the same message you keep hearing in your life, and you hear it so many times it feels like a cliche, but it's still so important. You have to love yourself. I know you've worked very hard on the self-love you've given. I know you've worked hard with bringing more light into your own heart and solar plexus. I know that even breathing can be constricted sometimes with a tightness and feeling of being stuck in the throat and heart and third eye, and stuck in the first and second chakras. This is normal, but because you have perceived a perfect version of yourself by what you want, and then you see yourself now, the perfect moment from me, you just can't see it the way I can. If you did, and took appreciation, even at smaller levels than what you were willing to give to others, you could grow and could expand and do that growth in a fabulous and beautiful way. Thank you. Well, back without hesitation or delay to begin, this is Aridif. We have 1 to 3 queries at the possibility of remaining for this day as well.
All right, well, Deborah has a question for you, Aridif. Deborah says, "Hello, Aridif. Is it possible for you to look into my energetics and suggest a reason why both my feet are sometimes numb and suggest anything I might do about it? With gratitude and love."
Yes, of course, this is part of the energy of your grounding. You are grounded well. You worked to ground your energy more deeply into the Earth co-created collective consciousness, but there are still parts of that grounding that are more difficult for you. For example, connecting to the Earth energy. Yes, it holds priority levels, but there's also more interest in co-creating with other human beings than even at that at Earth itself. Now, of course, this is not a negative consequence. It is always expressed that we would always desire for you to co-create with other humans and prioritize a level of co-creation where your heart feels connection and joy in that way. But when your connection process is limited and your physical co-creation with others around you, with you yourself, and with the co-creational energy of simply touching into the Earth energy deeply, it is of vital importance. We thank you for this.
All right, thank you, Aridif. Next question. What happens if a partner and children are on different trains for the New Earth and First Contact? Much love from Tracy.
Yes, of course, first of all, we have expressed this previously, and we have expressed this in many different terms. Yes, there is the construct of all of you going to your fifth dimensional and fourth density consciousness, and yes, it will be a collective version eventually, and yes, it can be within 5 years, within 10 years, within 2 months, but the majority of probabilities expresses that it will not come to this quickly. You cannot project an entire collective of consciousness when the consciousness is purging such great forms of millennia of resistance. So start there first, the removal of energy inside of your own self and the cleaning of energetic house within, if you are able to do so and able to feel the co-creation form of that energy inside of your own self, then you will notice markedly a great difference of energy and a great form of collaborative co-creation as well.
All right, thank you.
Yes, and of course we will take our last query for this day.
All right. Well, to Aridif, hey, it's Max. I am really drawn to the idea of channeling, and from my previous questions, I know that I have already connected to other entities unconsciously. Could you tell me what is blocking me the most to start doing it consciously? Thanks and much love.
Yes, of course, first of all, as we've expressed previously, as Treb Bor Yit-Ne has expressed previously, and as other entities have also expressed previously, there is a dichotomy within where you feel as if you're not already connected to those beings. That is a great form of connective start, knowing not simply that you are just one within large groups of consciousnesses that are of all oneness, but also understanding and knowing that the guides that work with you in impetuous ways, in great and expansive forms, in large-term co-creational means. And if you understand and know this with full forms of clarity, there will be no trains to be removed from. There will be no trains to co-create with. There will simply be your personal expansion in concert with others. Now, of course, you can change your life, your timeline and energetic line. You can change your own pathway in a co-creative moment. But as you are doing so, You're either stepping more towards the personal version of yourself that you desire, or you're stepping away from known entities to you. Now we understand humans believe that once you've jumped into your fifth dimensional consciousness, that you'll be separated from all low vibrational humans or non-awake human beings. And this, of course, is not true as well. You can experience different versions that are less resistant than those humans, but you will lose that version of human that you know, because those beings will exist in that different timeline as well. So what we suggest is prioritize. Should I experience something with those that I love most deeply in this moment of co-creation, or should only I create with the versions of my own family that I desire the most? If you perceive one as faulted and one as perfect, and choose the perfection to be that from within, then the projection of consciousness will not feel intimately the same. The first multiple days of experiencing a person whose face you understand and know, but holds a different vibrational quality altogether, will not bring you back any quicker than simply expressing that you understand that all of those that you love may not go into the same spiritual belief systems, but yet they are all ascending at once nonetheless. There can be no one left out. It is up to you to desire the version of the person that you would co-create with in that way, and perceive this acceptable contrast. If the contrast levels are too high, then you're always able to go back and readjust. If the co-creation form of that energy is clear, decisive, and you understand and know, there will be no feelings of resentment or feelings that you should have made yet another choice, because that will have passed you by then as well. We wish to express to all of you that as we have co-created with each and every one of you, we have grown in perspective of ourselves as we perceive co-creating with you, and as you have co-created with us, the versions of those projections are brought into your own perspective and perceived in that way. We congratulate all of you for the growth that you are having, and we thank you for the growth that you have given us as well. We will bid you all adieu for this day, and of course, you are loved. I also wish to greet you and bid you adieu, William, as well.
I do, Aridif.
Adieu.
Thank you, Rob.
You're back.
How'd it go?
It went well. It went very well. Let's see here. I'm just now getting back to the chat room. I couldn't look at it during the channeling. I had too much administrative stuff going on. But we got basically every question answered except for 3. So sorry to those 3 people. But that's pretty good, actually. Sometimes there's way more than that left over. So we were very efficient tonight. Channeled for about an hour and 4 minutes.
Nice.
And, yeah, good times.
All right.
But
great.
For those of you who are just getting here, Rob is live in the studio with me in Fincastle, Virginia. We're filming a TV series over the next week. More than that, we can't really tell you. It's the Oneironaut that we have been talking about. Where it's going to be picked up, when it'll be ready for you guys to see, all that is still up in the air. We're doing the pre-production and filming right now.
Yeah, all the other production has to wait till the channeling is done, so they know how to follow that track of what artist says and produce the rest of it behind it. So, yeah, good stuff, guys.
All right, guys. Well, that's basically it. We're not going to drag it out because we have been traveling all day. We've been traversing, came from the land of the pines, North Carolina, all the way up to the Appalachian, in Appalachia. We're in the Blue Ridge Mountains right now in Fincastle, Virginia.
Yeah, William's been in a car for 7+ hours today, and I've been in a plane and a car for about the same.
A
little
very
less.
comfortable car, though.
Yeah, very, very much.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I hope if this is your first time that you guys had your questions answered. I saw some names there that I'd never recognized before.
Cool.
So we got some new people get their questions answered. It is the luck of the draw. So if you did not get your question answered, terribly sorry, but that's how the cookie crumbles. Tell some of your other friends about the ET Whisperer. Bring them along next time. And I guess the next thing we'll be doing is you're going to put out
Yeah.
a Patreon post soon, right?
Yeah,
Tomorrow's the 1st.
on the 5th, I'll be putting a post the 5th or before, and that will give you the chance to fill out the form for this Q&A next month, and put suggestions, one suggestion each, one question for Q&A each. We did get some people who did multiple questions this month, so we had to just erase them at random. So just one question in each per person, and one suggestion, and on the 5th, we put the suggestion in a poll on the 10th, and then we vote from that poll from the 10th to the 15th, and whoever wins, we channel that topic in depth on the 15th, and on the 30th, like we did tonight, we'll be back to do the Q&A with Treb and Aridif. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Keep your eyes on Patreon the 5th, 10th, 15th, and 30th.
All right. And then that's basically it. Tomorrow we're heading out the mean streets of Roanoke, Virginia to film. So thank you everybody for being here. Have a fantastic evening. Again, I am your host, William Stoll. Today is December 1st, 2023, which means it's almost 2024. And it is 12:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you everybody. We are signing off and